Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, and listening. I truly appreciate it. We will be able to do more videos and episodes on Patreon and Spotify, if anything. Happy Valentine's Day. You know, this is a very special day. It's for those in love and for those who love those that they love, okay? You know, it don't matter if you're with someone or not. Appreciate those around you regardless of any day, and truly value the ones that you know you should value. That's all I will say on that. But we will today do and continue making free episodes and content. So without further ado, we are going to talk about A Seat at the Table. So let's get into it. Of course, you guys should know I'm talking about Solange, okay? So, A Seat at the Table is the third studio album by American singer-songwriter Solange. It was released on September 30th, 2016, by Saint Records and Columbia Records. So Saint Records is her imprint. As far as being an independent artist, why not? And I just think that is very important. I've said this in numerous videos. Like, if you're gonna do anything, do it yourself. You're just a better manager when you have the discipline to just manager, CEO, however you want to look at yourself. Boss, okay? Be your own boss. It's just worth it. Why rely on anyone to do something you can just do yourself? So I think that, from her previous releases and where she was going and is going now, this was the best decision. While recording the album, Solange released an EP titled True in 2012 and launched her own record label named Saint Records. Writing for the album began as early as 2008, while the recording sessions took place from 2013 to 2016 of June. Solange enlisted a variety of collaborators, including rappers Lil Wayne and Q-Tip, singer-songwriters The Dream, the BJ the Chicago Kid, Kelly Rowland, and Tweet, and musicians Sampha, Kalila, I believe, and David Longstreth. A Seat at the Table was widely acclaimed by music critics and became Solange's first #1 album on the Billboard 200 in the United States, debuting with 72,000 album equivalent units. The album's lead single, Cranes in the Sky, won the Grammy for Best R&B Performance, becoming Solange's first Grammy nomination and win. In 2020, the album was ranked at 312 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list. In 2009, in an interview with MTV, Solange revealed that she was determining the type of sound for the follow-up to Soul Angel and the Hadley Saint Dreams, or Hadley. Solange rented a house in Santa Barbara, California to get into a certain state of mind while writing and making music. There are times that people will find themselves needing to be away for such creativity, just wanting to just have space to just breathe and think and process the vision, and even for just livelihood, it happens. Not everybody is fortunate of that, though. There are people that literally have to make means. But for Solange, she said, no, I need to get away and just have my own sense of what I want for this next era. She said in an interview with Vibe on July 7, 2010, Solange said she suffered a little bit of a breakdown while recording her new album. I literally gave up my sanity for a while to do this record. We literally were waking up in the morning and just making music all day and all night. It just started to wear on me in so many different ways. I started having these crazy panic attacks. Solange explained how she made sacrifices mentally, emotionally, and financially, and continued, it's more than an album to me. It's a transitional time in my life. While still working on her third studio album, Solange released an EP called True, which was released on iTunes on November 27, 2012. On May 14th, 2023, Solange announced that she had launched her own record label named Saint Records, which she will be using to release her third full-length album and future music projects distributed through Sony. So, like I said, having space and being able to be away is not something that people can just go out and just do. You know, we're in 2025, you know, money is, I guess, not moneying in a lot of ways, and a lot of people are not feeling certain things that are going on. I get it. And I'll tell you, just continue to pray and continue to be positive and do all the right things that are supposed to be done in your life. Because getting discouraged or dismayed and misled is just not, you know, you really do find out that people will leave you behind. It's unfortunate. I don't laugh at that, but it's true. You got to do what's best for you. And you got to make sure that you do the right things. And, you know, her saying and opening up about, you know, having panic attacks and even just like trauma. It happens. You know, overworking yourself, overwhelming yourself, stressing yourself out. Those are things that are, yes, normal. They say that, oh, you know, this is what happens when you're going through certain things in your life. But it's like, yeah, but there are times where you got to really just pause. Just like, okay, everything's going on, but let me just take a second to just pause and just kind of breathe and just kind of just, you know, release the tension and just not, you know, not put too much on yourself. And I can attest to that. There are things that in my life still to this day I aspire to do. And, you know, we all want to get to where we want to be. And you can't just expect it to be right then and there or to be when you want it to be. You know, it comes when it's supposed to, when you go for it. That's the best way I can say. And that's clearly what was going on with A Seat at the Table, because you know, she had to really just step into herself definitely a bit more, which we all love to do, you know, over time, because it's like I'm getting older, there's more I want to express, so definitely. The album's themes include rage, despair, and empowerment, and it comprises funk, neo-soul, psychedelic soul, and contemporary R&B. The album opens with 90-second long track Rise, released a year earlier. Weary is a track filled with organs, guitar, and bass, and speaks about weariness and loneliness. So there's a lot of themes that are in this album. Cranes in the Sky is an upbeat track that speaks about attempts to alleviate the pain in alcohol, sex, music, or even run away. In the following interview, Solange's father and former manager, Matthew Knowles, speaks about his childhood filled with integration, segregation, and racism, which left him angry for years. Mad, featuring Lil Wayne, is a track about indignation and anger. So, yes, and then Don't You Wait contains elements of funk, drums, and bass, and contains a statement from Solange's mother, Tina Knowles. Don't Touch My Hair comprises electronic and funk music and explores a common experience for African American women. But yes, released on September 30th, 2016, through her own imprint, as opposed to being distributed through Columbia and Sony Music Entertainment. The physical release was released on November 18th, on CD and December 9th on LP. Yes, had 2 music videos for Don't Touch My Hair and Cranes in the Sky. Yeah, they were both directed by Solange. Co-produced and co-directed. So yes, the album A Seat at the Table was met with widespread critical acclaim at Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating of out of 100 to reviews from mainstream publications. The album received an average score of 89 based on 26 reviews. 26 is my number. Oh. So I've said this in previous albums where it's just like the number itself can vary also with the reviews. So let's say with Doechii, where she had less reviews but a great number, that would mean that, for if there was more reviews, that number would only slightly go down because there's already a sense of it being good from only so many people. That's why when you see like a 70 from like 20 something people, that means that it's damn near half and half, or more or less more people like it, as opposed to some people being like, yeah. But when it's like a 75 or more and there's more than 20 people, then that means it's really good. It's if there was more people voting, it would probably teeter up more than down. So, and that's what I've been reading based off of this. You know, any decent music, 8.5 out of 10. All music, damn near 5 stars. Yeah, 4 out of 5, and damn near an A for Entertainment Weekly. Rolling Stone said 4 out of 5. Yeah, did really well. And I enjoyed the album as well. I did. Yes, and it also topped the U.S. top R&B hip hop albums chart. 46,000 of 72,000 album equivalent units were pure album sales, and 24,000 were streaming and track equivalent units. As the album reached number 1, Solange and Beyonce became the first sisters who are both soloists to achieve number 1 albums on the Billboard 200 in the same calendar year. Yeah, they both released albums that year. Lemonade came out first, but you know, this came out literally not even 4 months after, maybe. Well, 5. But yeah, that was something that we just never really seen, where it was like 2 sisters release albums, they both go number 1. They both won Grammys, you know, that same decade. Well, going on a decade, but that same year. But yeah, what a time. But yes, let's get into the track list. So track 1 is Rise. Track 2 is Weary. Track 3 is Interlude, The Glory Is in You. Track 4, Cranes in the Sky. Track 5, Interlude, Dad Was Mad. Track 6, Mad, featuring Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne verse written by Dwayne Carter. I mean, they want to make sure they emphasize he right. I know he right. I just know, we just anyone that is writing, doing any type of work, it should be credited, right? I mean, people make jokes and be like, oh, well, you know, what if they just was breathing in the room? Artists should be able to credit anyone that may feel and have given contribution to anything with the project. I'm not saying that, you know, that's not silly. Oh, well, they were just breathing. They were just there. No. But if an artist is feeling as though, no, they inspired me upon this song and, you know, did a lot with me. And even wrote, like, literally, there's, you know, literally spreadsheets of this person writing with them. Yeah, they should be credited. But yeah, 7, Don't You Wait. And then 8, Interlude, Tina Taught Me. 9, Don't Touch My Hair, featuring Sampha. Track 10, Interlude, This Moment. Track 11, Where Do We Go? So, you know, by the time you get to track 11, there's a lot of feels. There's a lot of the word is, I mean, I wouldn't even want to say exposure. I would want to say like there's a lot of where you're feeling her more. You're feeling her story, her her vision, you know. And that's what I love about artists. I just love that, you know. When even when it comes down to siblings, where it's like it for some people, it took Rhythm Nation really for them to realize that Janet was different from Michael. It didn't take me that long. I knew she was different even before Control, but there's people even down to just the Janet album where they're like, all right, you know, this is where he was real. She was really different from her brother. It's like they were always different, but she was always inspired by him. Solange was never not inspired by Beyonce, but she herself is Solange. She's her own entity. And I think, like I said in the beginning, where it was just like, you know, having any type of panic attack or just being stressed or overwhelmed, you know, that can really take a toll on someone when they want to try so hard to do something that other people, even if it's your own sibling, they're just doing just doing it. It ain't even just a question about how well it's gonna happen. So track 12 is Interlude For Us by Us. Track 13 is FU by You featuring The Dream and BJ the Chicago Kid. The Dream verse written by Terry Nash. Let's see, track 14, Borderline, an ode to self-care featuring Q-Tip. Track 15, Interlude, I Got So Much Magic, You Can Have It, featuring Kelly Rowland and Nia Andrews. 16, Junie. Track 17, Interlude, No Limits. Track 18, Don't Wish Me Well. Track 19, Interlude, Pedestals. Track 20, Scales, featuring Kalila. And then track 21, Closing, The Chosen Ones. So yeah, this has been a really great album, still is. Be sure to stream and buy, even get a vinyl. But yes, a lot of people had worked with her on this album, and it did well. And I love cranes. I love Cranes in the Sky. And Don't Touch My Hair is a great song too. But I thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Being silly, y'all. But yes, I thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and I'll be back with more.